The second imprisoned writer PEN is highlighting this year is Emmanuel Asrat, an award-winning Eritrean poet, critic and newspaper editor. Arat was arrested at his home 14 years ago. He is still being held without charges or trial today. Limited information is available, but PEN believes that Asrat is detained in a maximum security prison north of Asmara and that his detention is politically motivated. It's an attempt by the Eritrean government to stifle critical voices. So we'll remember Emmanuel Asrat as we listen to Jim Pascual Agustin. And it's very fitting that we have Jim Pascual Agustin here this evening. He grew up in Manila during the martial law years under Ferdinand Marcos. He was a senior high school student when people power and the 1986 EDSA revolution toppled the dictatorship, which was responsible for countless deaths and disappearances. Jim Pascual Agustin's first book of poetry, Beneath an Angry Star, was published in 1992 when he was only 22. His seventh poetry collection, 1,000 Eyes, was released in Manila this year and will be followed by his first short story collection in Filipino. He has won 3 poetry prizes in South Africa, including 2 Sol Plaatje European Union Poetry Awards. Jim moved to Cape Town in 1994 to be with a Canadian-born South African girl he met on top of a bus while holidaying in the mountainous regions of northern Philippines during the monsoon season. We do like an image, we do. Thank you.
I didn't expect so many people. I made 5 copies of what I was supposed to read tonight, so if you can just share them. Sorry. Mostly going to read poems from my book called Alien to Any Skin. Some of them are set in India. My young family went to India a few years ago, and you know, when you go to a new place, you sort of see things more clearly or in a better way. Anyway, I was told to just read anything that relates to freedom, and so let's just see if these fit. First poem is called Preliminary Notes on the Physics of Modern Torture. Time bends in an unpredictable manner when twisted around a human body using easily obtainable tools such as wires, water, ducting tape, cigarettes, dogs, words, silence. Varying sounds emanate from most orifices depending on instruments applied. Some sounds resemble broken words that are often unverifiable. Other sounds are highly similar to those heard in abattoirs. Each human body has its unique threshold. The expected words may be extracted at different points or not at all. Thus, another subject must always be at hand in order for these tests to continue. I don't know how many of you know about the Philippines and what's going on there. As of this time, I think about 600,000 tribal people are being moved out of their ancestral lands so that mining corporations can take over and take the gold or whatever riches that are under there. And the government is not doing a single thing about it. The tribal people are called, they call themselves Lumads. And recently, schools were burnt down, people were killed, children were killed, and still nothing happens from the government side. And now the Lumads are in Manila. They walked all the way in Manila. They're holding protests there during the APEC summit, which is the economic summit for Asia Pacific region. and the government is telling them to move away because they're ruining the view. Anyway, this poem is called Tracks on Grasslands. It begins with one step, a boot on the slenderest blade of grass, the faintest crunch of bright green veins, nearly invisible. But it happens, that breaking. It happens again and again as you move on, forcing down other blades of grass, leaving your tracks, making a path of near silent destruction to somewhere you think is yours to claim. And when you encounter thicker grass there to keep you out, you make them sing with that sharpened blade edge. You do this in the dark. You do this mostly in the dark. The next poem is called Goat, Rope, Rock. When we were in India, we went to an area called Jaisalmer. It's more deserty. And I was sitting next to a window and there was a goat. So I decided to write a poem about a goat. And a few years later we did have a goat where we lived, but then the goat got killed by rabid dogs that got into our property and got into the goat pen and then couldn't get out. So I was there watching this goat being killed by these vicious dogs. But this is a different goat. Goat, rope, rock. There is a goat in front of a house surrounded by sand. Its left foot is tied to a rope attached to a chunk of rock. The desert town of Jaisalmer grows dark. It is possible there are other goats like this one, tied similarly to a rock. But this is the goat that will not surrender, gnawing at the rope even as darkness reigns. It will not give up while rope taunts the limits of teeth, even when I am no longer by the window to witness its freedom. Next poem is also set in India. It's in Udaipur, India. It's called Room. In India, they've got these bins. They're green, and they've got a sign that says "Use Me," big, bold, capital letters. This poem starts. "Use me," says the spray-painted sign on the side of a garbage bin, the length of a hearse, but deeper. 4 rusty iron windows, once green, squarely yawning at the sky. A cow tries to poke its head in, but horns get in the way. Blindly, it pushes a snout, sticks a tongue out and flicks whatever clings onto its shifting jaws. On the other side of the bin, a woman in dusty sari gropes for something still, possibly edible, her hands nudging the damp nostrils of the cow. She does not startle. The cow does not mind the frail warmth of human fingers. There's more than room for this level of existence. The next one is called Branded. Take the sharpest stone you can find as far away from the river, one that does not break or crumble when struck hard against a larger stone. Watch darkness drag its claws closer to where you crouch in silence. Breathe in fistfuls of damp air. If this does not pass after the sun bleeds, this nightmare is here, encroaching. Armed with the science of deceit and destruction, they come for you. The way out is not the way in. Tighten your grip. They have marked you because of how you think. Okay, this next one, this won the 3rd prize at the recent Soplahi. The judge, Wali Sorote, when he was congratulating me, he said, "Jim, you're going to upset Baleka and Bete. She might go for you." I said, "It's okay, I'm ready for her." This is an odd poem, so it should be read by two voices, so I'm gonna move to one side whenever it's the other voice, if you don't mind. Baleka, what do you know of tenders and thieves? Or cockroaches, for that matter? If food is scarce, adolescent cockroaches can live on a very reliable resource, their parents' feces. There are lessons that their parent can teach a child. The first few steps, how to listen, read, and write. Show them how to be tender as you plunder and rape, how to deal with the spoils, the leftovers, something sharp scraping the bottom. The New Zealand Y2K Readiness Commission gave out a recipe for cockroaches in case the world ended on New Year's Eve 1999. Simmer cockroaches in vinegar. Then boil with butter, farina flour, pepper, and salt to make a paste. Spread on buttered bread. You are suspicious of concoctions from the West, for there are countless ways of nourishing a nation. You have secret recipes you are willing to share. We're eager to know what lies squirming in your mind. What's that bulging under your sleeve? Scientists claim some female cockroaches prefer weaker partners because they like gentle sex. A University of Manchester team has concluded stronger male cockroaches are too aggressive and often injure their partners. There are consequences, you say, for not heeding the pliant rod of your word. In a chamber echoing an empty order, no king will want to speak. So you had to stamp your feet without even grinding your teeth this time around. A flick of your hand and the beating instantly began. A cockroach could live a long time, perhaps a month, without its head. Thugs go through the Academy of Thuggery, the ABCs of how to swing a stick panga, how to aim a gun that need not be fired, except on a whim. One head may roll and another, yet bodies keep kicking, running even, as if they weren't missing anything, because cockroaches breathe through the holes in their skin, living on nothing for weeks on end. But they do, eventually, wilt. Cockroaches have been present on the earth for more than 400 million years. How did you get so far up that ladder, appearing to know so little? Perhaps your mind cannot even go back as far as Rwanda, when cockroaches were grafted onto human flesh. I got one last, and I get this last one, it's called Village Potter's Wife. It's also set in India. In India, we went to one place where we were shown how people make pots. And there was this man with a spinning, I'm not sure what you call it. Anyway, he was working, and then the wife and children were in the background, way far. Okay. And then, but before that, the guy who was organizing a tour said, "Oh, you must sit here first." And so I sat there, and he gave me a turban, and he started making a turban, an orange turban around my head, and it was so big I could barely see. And my family thought it was so funny. They took a picture. That's one thing they remember. I remember the village potter's wife. Oh, this one won the Dalro prize, new coin in Dalro prize, and I thought it was a gimmick because I got the email while I was standing in checkers. And then I thought, this is a joke, I didn't win anything, I didn't join anything. There's Nigerian contests, lotteries. Anyway, village potter's wife, Jaipur, India. Crouched in a corner with no shade, she smashes, pounds, old, broken pieces of pottery, close to dust. 50 years she never felt the sensuous dance of earth and water on stone wheel. Her hands, no cut of shards, lick of flame, burden of sons, cling of daughters.